All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to do something a little different. We're going to take a deep dive into Mandarin Chinese, almost like a linguistic level analysis you'd get at a university. We're going to break down just one single simple sentence to really understand its characters, its grammar, and its logic. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll have a super powerful tool for describing the world around you.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll introduce our core sentence. Then, we're going to get our hands dirty and really analyze each character. After that, we'll look at the grammar that holds it all together, work on making the pronunciation sound just right, and then, the best part, you'll get to apply all that knowledge to build your very own sentences. So, let's dive right in. You know, the amazing thing is, everything we're going to cover today, it all revolves around this one simple but incredibly useful sentence. By focusing on just this one example, we can uncover some of the most fundamental rules of Mandarin. Think of it as our specimen for today's deep dive.
Okay, so here it is, our sentence for the day. First, I'll say it at a natural speed. 我穿红色的衣服. So, what does it mean? It translates to, I am wearing red clothes. It's simple, it's direct, and it's something you could hear or say every single day. Let's get comfortable with how that sounds. Now, this right here, this is what we call pinyin. Think of it as the phonetic blueprint for the sentence. And you'll notice those little marks above the letters. Those are the tone marks. And in Mandarin, they are not optional. They're not just suggestions. They are absolutely crucial. They completely change the meaning of words. We're going to come back to these in a lot more detail later. All right, so let's get into the good stuff. Let's actually look at the characters themselves. You know, it's so important to remember that these aren't just random squiggles. They're packed with logic, with history, with meaning, and often the little pieces they're made of give us incredible clues about what they do. Let's start with the very first. Okay, first up, we have 我, pronounced 我. It's got that dipping third tone. This is our subject, meaning I or me. And what's really fascinating from a linguistic perspective is its history. The earliest forms of this character were actually a picture of an old weapon, a kind of halberd. Over a long time, it was borrowed just for its sound to represent the word for eye. Next, we get to our verb, 穿. Now, this is where it gets really cool. This character is a perfect example of the logic hidden inside them. If you look closely at that top part, it's a picture representing a hole or an opening. It visually suggests the action it describes, passing something through an opening, just like putting your arm through a sleeve. It's a perfect visual cue. Our description starts with 红色. Now, this is a compound word, and it's a classic example of how Chinese builds vocabulary. The first character, 红, means red. The second one, 色, means color. So literally, you're saying red color. This is a super common pattern because it makes the word more specific and avoids confusion with other words that might sound the same. You'll see this pattern over and over again. And that brings us to the thing we're actually talking about. 衣服. This is another compound word just like the one we just saw. The first character, 衣, traditionally meant clothes you wear on your upper body. And the second, 服, is a more general word for clothing. You put them together, and you get a much more specific and complete word for clothes in modern Chinese. All right, so we've got our building blocks, right? We have our bricks. I wear red and clothes. But how do we stick them together? We need the grammatical mortar to build a proper sentence. And that brings us to a tiny but exceptionally powerful little character. So let's think about this for a second. In English, it's easy, right? We just say red clothes. The word order does all the work for us. But how does Mandarin handle this? How does it make that link between the description and the object totally clear and grammatically sound? Well, the answer is this particle right here, de, pronounced de, with a very light neutral tone. This little guy is arguably one of the most important grammatical particles in the entire language. Its job in this case is to be the glue. It connects the description, the adjective, to the thing being described, the noun. So let's put it side by side so you can really see the difference. Without the, you just have 红色衣服. Now, would a native speaker understand you? Yeah, probably, but it sounds a little clipped, a little robotic, almost like a label you'd read on a product in a store. But when you add the, you get 红色的衣服. Ah, that is the full grammatically standard phrase. It makes the connection explicit and sounds completely natural.
And what this gives us is a simple, incredibly powerful, and totally reusable formula. You just take your adjective, add the, and then put your noun, 红色的衣服. This is a real game changer. You can use this pattern to describe pretty much anything, a big house, an interesting book, you name it. This is a foundational structure you are going to use all the time. Okay, so we've got the meaning, we've got the grammar, but none of that matters if people can't understand you, right? So we've got to make it sound right. Correct pronunciation, and especially those tones, are absolutely non-negotiable in Mandarin. It's time to bring these pieces to life.
Let's go back to our phonetic blueprint here. I'm going to say it super slowly and really exaggerate the tones. Just listen carefully first. Ready? 我穿红色的衣服. Okay, great. Now let's try it a bit more connected. 我穿红色的衣服. Your turn. Try that.
Now let's talk about a few common trip-ups I hear all the time. For chun, a lot of learners forget to aspirate, to push out air. It's not chuan, it's chuan. You should literally feel a puff of air if you put your hand in front of your mouth. For hung, that second tone has to go up. It's not flat hung, it's hung, like you're asking a question. Then there's they. It's a neutral tone, so it should be quick and light, almost like it's attached to the word before it. Don't stress it. And finally, ifu. A common mistake is letting that first tone on E drop. Keep it high and flat, E, and then go up sharply for fu.
All right, you've done the hard work. You've analyzed the parts, you've practiced the sounds, and now for the really fun part. It's time to move from just understanding the language to actually creating with it. This is where the learning really sticks. So look at our sentence now. It's not just a sentence anymore. It's a template. It's a flexible grammatical tool. You've got this core structure, 我穿 blank the blank. You can describe all sorts of things just by swapping out the words in those brackets. It's like plug and play.
So to get you started, here's a little bit of new vocabulary. For colors, we've got blue, 蓝色, and we have black, 黑色. For clothing items, here are pants, 裤子, and finally, shoes, 鞋子. Just take a moment to look those over.
So let's build a brand new sentence right now. Let's take blue and pants and just pop them right into our template. And we get 我穿蓝色的裤子. 我穿蓝色的裤子. And that means I am wearing blue pants. See that? Just like that, you made a completely new, perfectly correct sentence. It's that powerful.
So I'm going to leave you with a final thought and a little challenge. Look down at what you are wearing at this very moment. Using the exact structure we just broke down, 我穿, color, the, clothing, how would you describe it? The true test of learning isn't just about understanding, it's about applying it. So go on, give it a try.